Well, Naledi, since the last time we spoke, we understand that the parole hearing might have gotten underway. Now, the communication, of course, that we received was that it was due to start at 9 o'clock this morning. The Matthews family, as I earlier indicated, has already gone inside the correctional facility. And this is, of course, where Donovan Moodley, convicted killer of Leigh Matthews back in 2004, will, of course, be appearing before the parole board. But one of the organizations that has been supporting the Matthews family and has also put through submissions why they believe that Donovan Moodley should not be granted parole is Women and Men Against Child Abuse. And Leigh Matthews, who is with the organization, joins me now. He's also scheduled to go inside in just a few moments. Luke, a very good morning to you. Thanks indeed for your time. Take us back once again to the submissions that you put through as an organization on why you believe Donovan Moodley should not be granted parole.
So we were approached by the family and by the family's attorneys to look at the victim impact component of the submissions, and then the lawyers looked at obviously the legal components. So our argument was twofold. Firstly, we thought on a legal basis he's not entitled to parole because it was a life sentence, and we believe that he should serve life, and life should be a minimum of 25 years. There was then a very technical legal argument about why that should not apply, and we argued against that. And then secondly, we argued about the fact that, the impact on the victims is profound. We still don't believe we have the full truth. We still don't believe that he has shown remorse. We still don't believe he has been rehabilitated. Now, on what basis, as a result, are you going to give parole if none of those are in place? And we have not been given anything that would suggest to us that there has been the rehabilitation of Mr. Moodley, which would sort of allow for him to be reintroduced into society.
It's also been litigation after litigation, the latest in that Donovan Moodley did not want this hearing to go ahead today. One of the reasons that he stated was that he did not receive the necessary documentation or all the documentation, which will be placed before the parole board this morning. Talk us through a bit about that. And you talk about the victim impacts. The victim impact statements are crucial part of the component of what the parole board will decide, in conjunction with a host of other things as well. Talk to us a bit about that and what that has demonstrated on the part of the man who's been convicted for the murder of Leigh Matthews.
So again, there's two sides to that. So our biggest complaint is that everything appears to be centered around the convict as opposed to around the victims, and in this case, obviously, the family of Leigh. Now, what he was saying was that there wasn't an adequate minute, therefore he needs a do-over in terms of the parole, which is where we are now. So we don't even know if there's anything new. Then what he said is, I need X, Y, and Z documentation, and the court ordered that that be given to him, and the various respondents didn't give it, and he then said that he wanted the departments to be held in contempt because they haven't given him the documentation. The court then found that the documentation is not necessary for a fair hearing, so we believe it's going to proceed. But the other side that no one's talking about is the fact that the family have also requested certain documents so that they can be satisfied that there has been truth that has been told. In order for you to be rehabilitated, you need to be able to tell the truth. In order for you to show remorse, a central component to remorse is the truth. And we still don't believe we have the truth. So those documents that the family requested from him to make the argument why he shouldn't get parole also haven't been provided. So there is this total focus on Mr. Moodley and him saying everyone's in contempt, where things have been requested of him, and because of his rights, they have been denied to the family. Things like psychiatric assessments, social work assessments, psychological assessments that would show us that there's been a level of remorse. And then we're still looking for the truth.
Luke, thank you very much for your time. Really do appreciate it. We'll let you go. We know that you've got to go inside. Thank you very much indeed, Luke Matthews, who's with the organization which has been supporting the Matthews family. They've also submitted documents, not this time around, but in the previous hearing, in which they believe that Donovan Moodley should not be granted parole. And we're not sure for how much of today the parole hearing will sit. We'll probably get some information round about lunchtime on whether they'll proceed into the afternoon. But of course, it's been a very difficult morning once again for the family of Leigh Matthews, of course, who have had to deal with this since 2004 when their daughter was killed. And of course, Donovan Moodley was convicted in 2005. So we'll certainly try to hear from them later on about how the hearing itself had gone through for this morning.